Hey there guys, and welcome back. On this week's show, we've got Kenny's picks for the top 10 shows of 2022. Well, in the past year of 2022, I have produced 104 shows. That is 2 shows a week, and let me tell you, that is one heck of a lot of work. I sink hours and hours into this show, into this channel. It's kind of a labor of love for me. But honestly, out of all of those 104 shows, I mean, there's good and there's bad, but there's certain shows that kind of shine for me, and there's certain ones that I'm really attached to, just like there's certain shows that you guys are attached to. So we're going to start off today's show with my top 10 picks, and it all starts off with a show that was actually filmed much longer ago than what you would think it was.
Number 10.
Well, it was November 22nd, and I brought you guys this project, which I think is just wonderful. And it came about when my daughter asked me if I could do this. And it was Santa's footprints, the stencil making process, so that you can make it look like Santa left snowy footprints along toward your tree at Christmas time, at Christmas morning. Guys, this show was actually filmed well over a year ago. This has been sitting on YouTube in private mode since about October of last year. That's October of 2021. But the problem is that when I filmed the show, I didn't leave enough time to give people a chance to make this project because the schedule was already filmed. The show in general is filmed many weeks ahead of time, sometimes months, and in this case, more than a year. But what I love about this project is its simplicity, its ability to be accessible to every level of woodworking. Every level of scroller can make this project because it doesn't have to be perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect footprint. But the other thing I love what this project brings forward is the excitement of the children on Christmas morning when that reality of Santa comes alive with these footprints on the floor. Guys, if you haven't tried this project yet or you haven't made this project yet, I suggest you give it a whirl because it doesn't matter if you make it today after Christmas has passed and save it for next year or not. It doesn't matter when you make it. What matters is that you make it.
Number 9.
Well, October 4th brought us the kind of unboxing and the first impressions of the Husky HVLP spray gun set from Home Depot. This thing came with an HVLP gun and a conventional spray gun as well. And over the time since I've had this, I've had some time to play with it and use it to place finishes on things, mostly on my scale models. Scale models, picture frames, children's toys, you name it, I have pretty much finished it. If I've made it here on the show, I've finished it with these guns. And I have to say that although I'm not a huge fan of unboxing videos, and although this particular one couldn't have been a review because I had no time to try it out really and to give it some extensive use, what I do love about it is the introduction to a new type of finishing for those of you that would be able to, for those of you that hate applying finishes, and that would be me. I absolutely despise having a brush in my hand and applying a finish. There are some people that love it. They love rubbing oil into the woods and getting that nice hand rub finish. They love applying the finish with a brush and watching it as those brush lines disappear and it melds into a flawless finish. For me, I end up with runs, I end up with brush marks, I end up with dust and crap in my finish. I end up with something that ultimately I'm not happy with. But HVLP was able to turn it around and make it so that I enjoy finishing and I love the finished products that I'm getting. So this is why this video belongs on this list. It's not about that it was such a great video. It's more about introducing something new that basically alleviated a problem that I had when it came to woodworking, and hopefully it can alleviate the problems that some of you might have as well. And that's what makes this show well worth it to be here on the list of the top 10 of 2022.
Number 8.
Well, number 8 on my list happened on June 21st, which also happened to be the weekend of Father's Day. And that would be my show of dad jokes. Why does this show get to be on the list? Why does this show deserve to be here? We didn't have a great project. There wasn't a great tutorial. There wasn't any kind of great rant or anything. It was simple, basic, silly fun. That's why it belongs on this list. For nothing more than to unwind and relax and just have a couple laughs at something that is so silly that it's not even really funny, but because it's so silly, it becomes funny. And those would be dad jokes. They're corny, they're ridiculous, they're overdone, but oh my gosh, they're so much fun. And that is why it belongs here at number 8. Now, will this make a revisit here for the upcoming season? You know what? I think it will. It was received really well. We had a lot of fun with it. A lot of you sent in your dad jokes. I got to tell you, I really enjoyed that as well. But I think it will make a revisit. It was worth doing the first time, and if it was worth doing once, it was worth doing again. So, you know, who knows? It might be like those Rocky movies. We might end up with 150 sequels.
Number 7.
Well, October 25th brought us our show that made number 7 on the list. And that was my introduction of XTool's D1 Pro 20 watt laser engraver. Guys, I have to say that I've been doing this a long time. Not just the show. I've been doing the show since 2013, almost 10 years now. And I've also been woodworking since about the age of 10, the best that I can figure. So over 40 years. And I'm always on a quest to find something new. I'm always on a quest to learn something new. Sometimes it's wood burning. Sometimes it's trying to scroll something I've never scrolled before. Sometimes it's a challenge of a scale model, trying to make a piece that normally, visually, it's unheard of that it would be done by hand. But the laser engraving provided an opportunity for me to get more in touch with computer work because I'm not very good at it. And it also gave me the opportunity to learn a new tool, because no matter how you look at it, a laser engraver is a tool. A lot of people say, sort of like with CNC, that CNC is not woodworking. And while it may not be woodworking in the aspect of hands-on using the tool to create a product, you are using your mind to manipulate a computer program to have that product manipulated through CNC or through laser engraving. So indirectly, you are still woodworking, you're just using a different tool. The tool is a computer and a laser engraver, or a computer and a CNC, as opposed to a table saw, a router, a hand plane, a jointer, a scroll saw, whatever. So this was an opportunity for me to learn something new, and I have to say I'm loving every minute of it. Has every project been a success? Absolutely not. Do I get a little disappointed from time to time if a project doesn't work? 100% yes. But do I quit? No. I keep going and I keep working and I keep trying to achieve that perfect laser burn, and I am loving every minute of it, and because of that, this show belongs on this list. And I hope that some of you have managed to give this a try for yourselves as well. It's a load of fun, guys.
Number 6.
September 30th brought us the Halloween door skull. And why does this one belong on my list of top shows? Number 1, it's a great scroll saw project, and one that I was able to introduce the spiral blade to a lot of you that may not have had use with those blades before. Second of all, I got to run some paints through my HVLP, and truth be told, this project was the first one that I had ever used the HVLP to apply paints, and it worked beautifully. It was wonderful from start to finish. I never had a problem with it. Why else does it belong on this list? Guys, it's Halloween. You know how much I love Halloween here on the show, and just in general, it's one of my favorite times of the year where you can just let loose and be a little spooky or be a little goofy and have some fun, and nobody ever questions it. Either way, it's a wonderful project. It's modifiable to anything you want to be. It doesn't have to be a skull. It could be a jack-o'-lantern, a witch against a moon background. It could be whatever you like. And all it takes is a little bit of imagination and some scrap plywood and a little bit of paint. Guys, if you haven't tried this one already, I suggest you get on it for this coming Halloween of 2023 and have one of these hanging in your yard. It's on this list for a reason, and it should be on your list as well, just because it's darn cool.
Number 5.
January 4th brought us number 5 on the list, and it was the debut of a series of What the Heck Is That in Kenny's Shop. This series was well received, and over 2022 throughout the year there was actually 4 episodes of this show, showcasing everything from Muppet music boxes to old scythes down to brass shell casings, massive shell casings from Canadian naval ships. Guys, there are a ton of things that are hidden in all of our shops, and honestly, when people come here in the shop, I find that they're not looking at the tools. They come in and they're looking around the walls at the things that are hanging, the things that are either displayed or tucked in the corners. Because everybody's seen a scroll saw or a bandsaw or a table saw or whatever. They may not have seen a ceramic steer skull hanging off a wall. So these are the things that make our shops our own. These are the things that make our shops personal. And these are the things that make our shops interesting. It is our own space. And the fact that over these 4 episodes of this show that I have been able to share some of that with you guys has just been awesome. And the responses that you guys have given back to me have been awesome in return. So, will this continue? Most likely. If I have more stuff to show throughout the year, I'm going to show it. If I don't, I won't. It's as simple as that. But either way, it was a load of fun, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it as much as what I enjoyed bringing it to you.
Number 4.
April 1st, April Fool's Day, brought us here on the show one of my favorite, if not my favorite, toy that I have designed to date, and that was the Bulldozer build. Guys, this thing was more of a challenge to design than I had ever imagined it would be. As I've said earlier on this show, I'm not really that good with computers. A lot of people think I'm some kind of genius on them, but I'm not very good. And I struggle, and I have to tell you, this bulldozer pattern really made me think. I really had to think about this one, and the more I got into it, the crazier it got, and I finally had the whole thing put together on the computer, and I thought, there's only one thing left to do, and that's to build it. And I'm not going to know if it works until that happens. And then I brought it out here and built it, and luckily it worked out, and it is just a wonderful toy. It's great looking. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I love everything about this toy. The look, the playability, its weight. It's a very heavy toy. Everything about it I enjoyed. And I've seen some of the versions that you guys have been making out there, and they are just amazing. So the fact that I can share it with you guys, I mean, I like all the toys that I was able to bring you, but this one in particular has kind of a special place with me just because I love everything about it. I don't know what else to say. I just really like that toy.
Number 3.
Well, some of you will probably disagree with the placement of number 3. It was on April 8th. It started an 11-part series. which took over both the Friday and the Tuesday shows. And that was the new Excavator build, where we take a Toys and Joys pattern and go step by step, piece by piece, all the way through until the end, and hopefully give you guys the confidence to make your own. Now, I know that last year the model builds or the tutorials did not hit number 1 of Kenny's top 10 list, and there was a lot of you that were pretty upset about that. You know, oh, Kenny, that should have been number 1, should have been number 1. Okay, well, maybe it was number 1 to you, and that's why this is Kenny's top 10 list. So this one's number 3. Did I love it? You're darn right I loved it. I enjoyed every minute of it. It's a wonderful model, a load of fun, a ton of work, a lot of challenges, but nothing that's out of reach. But with the model builds, the Toys and Joys, I'm telling you that the interaction that they bring with the audience of the show is what really brings these build series to life. I watch at the beginning and there's like 2,000 views on the first show, and then there's 1,800, and then 17, and then 14, and 13, and then 8, and then 6. And as the series goes on, the views dwindle. But it's not about getting views. It's not about getting subscribers. It's about giving you the confidence to make your own model. And I think that even though the final episode was only somewhere around 500 or 600 views, I think the point is that if those 500 or 600 people were the ones that watched it all the way through, and those 500 or 600 people are the ones that gained confidence in their woodworking ability and gained the confidence enough to try a model like this, or any model for that matter, then the series was a total success. This channel does make a little bit of cash, but it's enough to keep the show going. It's enough to fund what I do here on the show. So it's not about the cash, it's about the final outcome. And this series brought a final outcome of giving some of you the confidence that you need and that extra push. And I've seen some of the models that you've been doing, and I love every one of them. I hope you're going to keep sending them to me. But guys, honestly, whether you think it's number 3 or number 2 or number 1, or whether you think it's number 10, or whether you think it doesn't make the list at all, these series are a load of fun, and I hope that it's going to give you the confidence that you're going to try your own scale model.
Number 2.
Now, number 2 made number 2, and it's so high on the list not because of something that I did. In fact, it has nothing to do with me at all. Number 2 is where I showcased my wife's crafts. A lot of you were asking to see the crafts that my wife makes, and I was able to produce a show where I brought you some of the things that she does. And she does a wonderful job with all of them. But the reason this thing ranks high is because it gives me the chance to step back out of the limelight and to drag her in. I would love to have my wife here on the show more often. I'd love to get her out here and make some projects with me, but she's not as comfortable in front of the camera as what I am. She's not as goofy in front of the camera as what I am, so she's a little self-conscious on it. But anyway, hopefully we're going to get her out here and get her on a couple episodes of the show in 2023. But the fact that I was able to showcase her work, which I'm always proud of, I hope that all of you enjoyed it too. But the fact that I was able to share it with you guys, and the support that you showed my wife and the support that you showed me for showcasing my wife, it was just fantastic. It was also nice to hear, in that show I had the most comments from my female viewers, and it was nice to have them come out and be vocal and say, hey, I love this, I love that, I love this. You know, I wish they would be a little more vocal during the regular show and, you know, come out and say things. I've got the regular female viewers that come out and say hello from time to time. I love hearing from you all. Don't wait till I have another show about my wife's crafts before you jump into the conversation. We got a great group here on the show, so join in. Either way, at number 2, the crafts of Kenny's wife.
Number 1.
Well, this is the part where none of you are going to agree with me. I just know it. But this is what It is, okay? February 4th of 2022 brought you guys the #1 pick for me for the shows of this year. And that was the tutorial on cutting hand-cut inlaid dovetails. Guys, this project of cutting dovetails is a challenge. Hand-cut dovetails is a skill and it takes practice. And there's a lot of people that, you know, saw the show where I did a tutorial on the Lee D4R Pro doing inlaid dovetails. And I got a lot of emails and questions. Yeah, you know, that's great, man. You got that jig. You know, put your money where your mouth is and show us you doing it by hand. How good are you really? Guys, this made #1 for no other reason than to say you don't need the fancy jigs. You don't need that fancy setup of the D4R Pro. You don't need the fancy table saw. You don't need that. You need a good hand saw, a chisel, a mallet to be able to work that chisel, and equipment to sharpen that chisel. And when you get it all done and you take your time and you get everything finished up, you end up with gorgeous results that look just as good, if not better than, the ones done by the D4R Pro. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. Do I care? No. Do I love it? Yes. Because it's those little imperfections in the joint that shows the hand-done work. And no matter how you look at it, the wow factor of the joint itself, it's a very striking joint. It's gorgeous. And then when the people look at it and they find out that was done by hand, guys, you can do this. You can do this. I know you can. It just takes time. It just takes patience. It just takes practice. So why did it make #1? Because I'm just showing you that, you know what, you don't need all the fancy gizmos. As much as I love them, you don't need them to be good at woodworking. You can do just as much, just as well. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. Put your mind to it, guys, and you can do anything. So at #1, the hand-cut dovetail tutorial. And there you have it. The top 10 list of my top 10 shows of 2022. Guys, whether or not you agree with this list really doesn't matter. Everybody has their favorites. Everybody has their preferred type of show. So my #1 is not going to be your #1. My #5 may not be your #5. What matters is that you're enjoying the content, or that out of those 104 shows, out of those 104, you found something somewhere that you enjoyed. You found something or a show that you were able to take something positive away from. Guys, tomorrow is New Year's Eve. It is the end of the year for us again. And I want to wish all of you, honestly, the happiest of New Year's celebrations. I hope that everything in 2022 has been to your liking. I hope that everything has worked out the way that you hoped it would. And I hope that 2023 brings you even more blessings. We have a lot planned in 2023 for the show here. We're going to have more laser tutorials. We're going to get in some hand wood burning tutorials. Going to be another model build in there. You can bet, another scale model. There's going to be some more toys, some more free patterns on the website. There's going to be some more What's in Kenny's Shop, more dad jokes. We are going to hit it hard in 2023 and have a great time. But we can't do it without you. I've said this before on the show, and I'm going to say it again. Without all of you out there, this is just some crazy guy talking to himself in his shop. So I kind of need you, or this show goes nowhere. So guys, I hope that you're going to join me for 2023. Happy New Year to all of you, and I wish you all the best in the following year. if you haven't already, please, why not subscribe for 2023? You hit that bell and then you won't miss the notifications of the future episodes of the show. Guys, I want to hear from you down below. I want to hear your comments as to what you thought was the best of 2022. You got a suggestion or something you want to see for 2023? You drop me a suggestion down below or send me an email, kennye@acutabovewoodworkings.com. I would be more than happy to hear from you. Send me some pictures of your work. Check out the website. Download a free pattern. Make something. Do something. Say hello in an email. Give me a suggestion, and I'd love to see you here on the show. Guys, thanks again for tuning in. I hope you're going to join me again next week when I bring you yet another woodworking video.